fighters. So the guy said to me, "Who is this guy I'm talking to?" Because I think I was being very flippant at the time, and he wanted to know who I was. Who is this person? And I said, "Oh, he's for real. He's for real." And I said, "Oh no, I just do this to convince my wife, that I'm actually doing something in Vegas."
And that's right.
Yeah, it was back in the CES days. I think.
Yes. I missed the tent in January and the mud underneath my feet and the Playboy models.
You like the 80,000 people in one tent sort of thing?
I did, and I love waiting in the rain for an hour and a half for a taxi. I mean, don't you miss those days?
Oh yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible. I think that this is a lot easier to handle now.
Yes, it is. There's no doubt that it is. I was always a fan of the evolution of E3 over the years, and I don't miss the crowd, but I miss about half the crowd.
Do you go to E for All at all? Because that's just as insane.
E for All is more manageable.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. I think the one that's scary in a fascinating and fun way is the Leipzig Game Convention.
I haven't been to that yet. I probably should go.
It's 200,000 consumers who pay money to spend a weekend playing games that are coming out in the fall. And it's amazing because the show is only open on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Friday morning at 7 o'clock. There's a barrier, and you see 15,000 people behind barriers, and the gong goes off, the barriers come down.
And they run.
It's
like Disney World at opening.
So it's in like a 10 million square foot exhibition hall, and people are having a shot of Jägermeister, drinking a beer while they're waiting in line for half an hour to go play Wii Fit.
No, geez.
It's whole families.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
It doesn't, but it's fascinating to see the different culture. But what's fascinating to me is that people who are, like games, bring their families, and they wander around, and they really, doesn't matter what the marketing hype is, they stand in line for the things that they find interesting. And the word of mouth that travels around throughout this,
It's fascinating,
I'll bet you. It's great. I think consumers, the more we show consumers what we make, what we do, how we do things, they become more invested, more involved, they play more games.
Yeah, well, it has evolved quite a bit in the past few years from when it started, back when we only had Ataris and Commodores.
And 10 or 12 channels on television, and so things are more options now, and games take a greater slot of all the options available, which is fabulous. We've earned that.
Now, what's the goal of the Academy? What is it that the Academy is trying to do?
Well, the Academy was created to be an association that would recognize the excellent work and the talent of the game makers through an annual recognition program called the Interactive Achievement Awards, which started in 1998. So we're in our 13th iteration of the awards. We have about 13,000 of the leading game makers across the world. All the leading publishing companies, the leading development studios send their best and brightest. We have about 400 of them who are judges in craft categories based on their areas of expertise. Once a year, the Academy sends out about 15,000 copies of games to these people. They play them, they evaluate them, they make notes, and they argue among themselves as to which work.
I'm sure they do that.
Oh, yes. There's no shortage of argument and nasty emails going back and forth over the merits of some games, and they take it very seriously.
People can be very, very emotional about their games and how the game should be designed.
And the Academy's perspective is that game makers have a very unique point of view in terms of what it takes to make a really tough, a really engaging game experience. And that's different than what reviewers think, what media critics think, and what players think. Yeah. Because they're not involved in the process of creating a game. And we think that their perspective is valid, and that for themselves as well as for the general game-playing audience, that they should know that out of 1,000+ games a year that are released, there are 40 or 50 games that game makers believe if you pick one up and play it, you're guaranteed to have a great time.
And it's like anything else. Some movies, when they're released, don't do well, but if you look at examples of some of the animated films over the years, Alice in Wonderland didn't do very well when it came out. But there are a tremendous number of people. It's their favorite film now.
It's true. And we've had some of those awards over the course of my stewardship at the Academy. Katamari Damacy, which won a Family Game of the Year award and Innovation Award, was not a commercial